Hey everyone, Jason Weckerle here. Right now, I'm extremely sick with some sort of flu or really nasty cold or something, so if I start coughing, sneezing, I sound congested, I apologize. There's been some nasty crap going around lately, and everybody's getting sick over the course of this holiday season, but the reason I wanted to make this video, well, there's a few reasons, and I'll get into that in a second, but I saw a really crazy news report yesterday about some fishermen that got trapped in a EF3 tornado down in Texas because they thought the weather conditions were prime for bass fishing. They thought they could avoid the storms that were passing through their area. They took a risk, and a lot of us over the years have taken risks in life, especially us fishermen. I mean, I'm an ice fisherman, and I'll never tell anyone there's any such thing as safe ice. Because anytime you're walking on ice, it can crack and you can fall through. Anytime you're driving on it, your vehicle can fall through along with you. So we take risks every time we head out on the water. I mean, we've risked weather turning bad. We've risked falling through the ice. We've risked crashing our vehicle when we're out on the roads or highways. We risk getting into a boating accident. Life is full of risks. But this man who runs a YouTube page, his name's Brian Johnson. His YouTube page is Brian Johnson Live. Him and his buddy and their dog went out on a reservoir down near Winnie, Texas, and they thought, we can get out there. The bass should be biting really well because of the barometric pressure changes. And I know firsthand how much weather impacts fishing, how much it really helps when you have, approaching storms, maybe an approaching cold front that hasn't blown in yet. The fish get really fired up when the weather is sometimes nasty, sometimes when we're the most uncomfortable as fishermen out there on the water. But these guys seen that there was nasty storms in the forecast, and they said, hey, let's go fishing, and it almost costed them their life. I'll show you guys some of the footage that occurred that Brian Johnson captured when this tornado blew in. And from what his story goes, I guess they thought that the tornado or the storm was heading north and that it was going to miss the lake they were on. They were on a 200-acre reservoir. The reservoir was called Staniland Reservoir, 200 acres in size, really small, which goes to show you even a small body of water can turn really ugly really quick, even the smallest lake. Especially if you have an EF3 tornado blowing through the area. But these guys, Brian, his friend Tony, and their dog Sam, thought they'd get out on the water and the storms would miss the lake heading north. But instead the storm tracked from the southwest heading right over them. And all hell broke loose. These guys are lucky they survived. The footage is terrifying. And it's just absolutely, one of those things you need to think about as a fisherman, as a person. Safety always comes first. There's a lot of guys who have so much need to catch fish, so much, some guys even have the need to prove their manhood, which I don't think that was at all Brian or his friend Tony's, meaning for being out there. They just wanted to catch some big bass. I understand that. I've been trapped in some really harsh conditions as a fisherman myself a few times, and I know how ugly things can get when bad weather rolls in, and I've been scared off a lake a few times. Well, this storm that blew over Brian Johnson and his friend Tony and their dog Sam had 138 mile per hour peak winds. I heard something that there was 160 mile per hour gust or something in this storm, but these guys are in their bass boat and they had to try to throw their anchor into some reeds or bulrushes. They were trying to They were only 75 to 100 yards from the boat launch. They were trying to stay close to shore, so if they had to get off the lake fast, they could just get right back to the boat launch. But this storm came in so quick, they really didn't even have time to think about it. And just as fast as this storm blew over, a minute later, it was gone. But their boat was capsized. Brian was freaking out. He couldn't find Tony. He couldn't find his dog. He was pounding on the boat. He was trying to lift the boat up. And he kind of, I don't know if he was under the boat already or what happened. I'm not necessarily understanding the story 100%, but it sounds like he went underneath the capsized boat, found a kind of an open air pocket where he could hide under the boat. And then he heard Tony pop up on the other side of the boat. And once the storm blew over, these guys collected themselves, and some friends came by with a pickup truck. They all helped flip the boat over. Sam the dog miraculously survived the storm, came running up to them, right into Brian's arms, and Brian sounds like he's very thankful to God for sparing his life. I would be too, and the footage was pretty terrifying. I don't know if many of us would ever go through something and not come out the other side of that situation not traumatized, not messed up in some way, because a nasty storm will change you. I've been stuck in a tornado once myself back in 2005. I was traveling down Highway 26 between Johnson Creek and Jefferson, Wisconsin, and there was a tornado out there, and it was very close to my vehicle, and it made the sound of like this demonic growling sound. The pressure in the air, you could feel it popping in your ears. It was terrifying. So I can't imagine being stuck in a boat on a lake while this is happening, or having your boat capsize. But both of the men and their dogs survived, and this story came to remind me of something that happened in 2024. New Year's just passed, and 2024 I lost a lot of my loved ones. Lost my grandfather, I lost several friends way too soon. And my friend Brian, Busy, and his wife Erin, and another friend of theirs this past summer got into some sort of boating accident, or something happened where Brian's boat capsized. Another Brian, not Brian Johnson. But their boat capsized on Lake Michigan, right out from Port Washington. I lost my friends, Brian and Erin. They both died. The younger guy on the boat, that their friend that they took with them, survived. And I still haven't heard the full story yet about that, but it's absolutely heartbreaking. He was one of my best fishing buddies, best friends. I knew him for about 15 years or so. Did a lot of ice fishing with him, a lot of muskie fishing. He was one of the most hardcore fishermen I knew. The guy was out there in some of the roughest conditions, stuff you wouldn't even get me out in, and it sadly, I don't know the full story, but it costed my friend and his wife their lives, and they weren't so lucky, and it breaks my heart. But this goes to show you, do not risk your life to catch a fish. I don't care if there's 20 world records sitting in front of you and you had to fish through a tornado or walk on an inch of ice to catch those fish. I just wanted to share this report with you, tell you guys, don't risk your life to catch fish. Don't walk on thin ice to catch fish. Don't sit there and go out in bad weather to catch fish. You just never know what's going to happen, and you won't be catching fish anymore if you pass away. So I think your loved ones, as well as yourself, would feel a lot better if you kept yourself alive so you can keep on fishing, keep on spending time with your loved ones. But I gotta go nurse the sickness now. Gotta take a hot shower, eat some soup. Just feel totally under the weather, and Trying to kick some videos out. I got a ton of videos to edit, a ton of catching up to do on this page. If you guys haven't checked out the last 4 videos I posted, it's a 4-part series. I take you guys up to the Wisconsin North Woods. We do some smallmouth bass, walleye fishing, muskie fishing. I take you to the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame Museum and do a full-blown tour of that. So check out the past few videos. Check out all my videos. Hit that subscribe button. Brian Johnson, if you ever see this, thank God you, your friend, and your dog are still alive. Keep on catching those bass down in Texas. I can understand when there's 12-pounders, 15-pounders lurking around. It's tempting to get out there even in the worst conditions, but I hope you learned your lesson. I'm sure you did. And it was an eye-opening news report, so I just wanted to share it with everybody. Take care, good luck fishing, and stay safe on the water.